So Sanjay, who do you think is the greatest composer of all time?
Beethoven.
Oh,
he's my boy.
For sure.
So many
for sure.
good jams.
But how about your second best then?
John Williams.
Me too, man.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. Would you do like a top
Oh my god, I was thinking the same thing. We've got
Top
the camera here.
5.
Top 5 John Williams moments in movies?
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Alright, for this we decided to go at it like the moments in a movie which John Williams actually enhanced with the music. You know, he added to it, made it more better than it could have been. Like, you could take the music out and it wouldn't be the same effect. That's what we wanted for.
So it's not necessarily just like a really good score that he did, because if it's just like, let's say just the Indiana Jones score, there might not be a particular moment where the score itself enhances it. So it's just about, particular moments.
We feel like the score helped. And saying that, number 5, I'm going for War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg. There's a scene in the film where Dakota Fanning's character, Rachel, wanders away from her father and is staring out at the river.
Oh, yeah.
And all these bodies kind of go past. And it's a pretty creepy scene of these bodies just going down, a very eerie image. But I think the music just makes it so much more scary. And then as there are more bodies going down the river, it's like more violins join in and it starts to get more and more hectic and she starts to hyperventilate.
Jovial, stay where I can see you.
I think normally it'd just be like a creepy scene, like, oh, these bodies. Oh no, I'm scared. With the music, it totally gives you that impression she's starting to lose her mind, you know, like, because I get the vibe watching the movie, she's just going insane. I mean, any child in that situation would lose their minds.
So my number 5 is the end part of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's a great film. It's a great film. And there's one particular tune that is played throughout, for those of you who have seen it. The interesting thing is that, unlike a lot of other musical scores, this is in the film. The characters can hear this.
Yeah, it's a part of the plot.
Yeah,
you know.
and when you first hear it, you're like, what is this? What does it mean? You know, there's so much ambiguity. There's so many questions. And then when you hear it at the end, when you finally figure out that, you know, it was the aliens trying to communicate. And when you hear it as, you know, part of the score, as the audience, it's this really great sense of closure. And it's almost like you're saying, you know, it sounds cheesy, but it's like you're saying goodbye. You know, that's your only connection
such a great
you've had.
conclusion, like, way to end the film, you know. Number 4 for me is a delightful little film called Hook. And close to the halfway point of the film, Peter Panning is taken in by the Lost Boys. And one of the Lost Boys just stops and starts to feel Peter's face and moves his wrinkles around, trying to see if he can get that smile. And you get this really beautiful melody playing as he's looking at his face. But just that particular music track, I think, adds to the scene, because without it, it's just a bunch of children touching Robin Williams' face and just like, it is you. But the music just makes it tragic and like really hopeful.
Oh, there you are, Peter.
It's the moment they're figuring out it's Peter, you know? I think the flute adds a lot to that scene. It wouldn't be the same without it.
But Peter, you've grown up. You promised never to grow old.
My number 4 is the opening of the Ark in Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ah.
Throughout the film, you hear that. It's almost like the Ark's a living thing.
Yeah.
It was like, don't piss me off.
Yeah.
Just don't. And then, you know, it kind of builds and builds, because before this, it's pretty tame. But it's quite menacing. And then right before they open it, you hear it kind of build up, and it's just the Ark going, right, this is you stupid Nazi piece of shit. You open the Ark. And then it becomes quite choppy when the heads are exploding and faces are melting. And then it comes back after all that's happened, and it's just so menacing.
Next on my list is from the third Harry Potter film, which was John Williams' last go at score. For some reason, he stopped doing them after Prisoner of Azkaban. And Prisoner of Azkaban, in my opinion, is the best Harry Potter film, and it's definitely got the best score. There's a moment in the film where Harry's alone and he's with Professor Lupin, and he's talking to him about his parents. And this is the first time in the movies where Harry learns about his parents as actual people. And the music in that scene, it's the flute again.
Not only was she a singularly gifted witch, she was also an uncommonly kind woman.
Harry's learning the identity of his parents, and it's like the flute sort of reflects that. With that music, it's suddenly he's hearing
a whole another dimension.
Yeah, adding another dimension. He's hearing the story, and he's just sort of thinking about them.
Rumor has it, he passed on to you. You're more like them than you know, Harry.
If I'm picking a particular moment that enhances the scene, I'd pick that. But that score comes back several times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like the scenes where Harry's learning to do the Patronus, and it kind of gets more stronger. And by the end of the film, when he finally is able to conjure the final Patronus against the Dementors,
Expecto Patronum!
It's the full final version of it. It's like Harry's becoming his own person.
Yeah.
Stepping forward, really growing up.
Alright, so my number 3 is a very iconic scene. It is the E.T. bike scene.
Of course.
When they go flying. I don't have that much to say about the scene other than it's the absolute definition of whimsy. Again, if you take away the music, it's just a boy with a stumpy alien and they're going for a bike and they're flying.
And it's cool. Oh, they're flying. Neat.
But then with the music, it's just magic.
My number 2 on my list is from one of my favourite films of all time, Jaws. Nice. It is the big scene where you finally see the shark.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chump some of this shit.
Throughout the movie, kind of similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark, you get the Jaws theme. We're ominous and it gets more powerful. And this is kind of like the track in its complete form when you finally see the shark up close.
Shut off that engine.
The part I like is when the shark's actually going past the boat and there's a new track that starts, and it's almost like a whimsical adventure kind of music. It sounds like something out of Indiana Jones or something. And for me in that moment, it kind of is the characters' feelings and that they're in awe in this moment. They've come to kill the shark, but in this particular moment, they're just watching it and appreciating the miracle of evolution of this gigantic shark.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
And without the music, I reckon the scene would give you the impression that they're like scared and just like, oh, it's a big shark, let's kill it, you know? But this adds the whole, wow, look at this magical thing. I'm sure a lot of audiences are thinking, that looks fake, you know? But the characters in the moment thinking, this shark is amazing.
Even though it's dangerous, like, this is something that, you know, nature made.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like one of those things where you're confronted with something so awesome.
Yeah, and they're in awe. And it lasts for like a moment. And then the music picks up, all right, let's kill this thing. And they're straight into action mode.
You're gonna need a bigger boat, right?
My number 2 is from a controversial film. Film not liked by many people. I don't mind it. It is Attack of the Clones. I know a lot of people have a problem with this film. And that's fair enough. It's got some awful bits that are awful and poo. But the score in the prequels, I don't care who you are. If you don't acknowledge the genius of the score in the prequels, you're a shit. You're just a real shit. And there's one moment, the score just communicates everything that the scene should be. And And it's the very last scene, which is Padme and Anakin getting married. And I know what you're all thinking, oh, you know, the shittest, like, romance ever.
What an acting.
Yeah. I mean, not much happens, but the score, holy shit. That score is just so beautifully tragic. You know, it's the sound of, like, knowing what they're doing. You know, they're consciously saying, look, we know we're knowingly going on this path of damnation, but we're gonna do it anyway. And there's this little kind of part at the end that's almost like foreshadowing, like, alright, you've chosen this path, I hope you're ready for the consequences. And the score communicates everything that the movie wished it could.
It's trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Unsuccessfully, the score is totally making up for it, you know?
These films are trying to be something that could have been such a great film, but only the music's at that level.
I'm glad you picked that for your number 2, Sanjay, because it doesn't give me much to talk about for my number 1, which is the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for real.
I was so conflicted.
My number 1 is the ending of Attack of the Clones. They got better in Revenge of the Sith, but Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen's acting in that movie is pretty dog shit.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, you get the sense from George Lucas he wants to make this the greatest love story of all time. This great tragedy that rivals Romeo and Juliet. These two people that shouldn't be in love, but they are, and it's going to destroy the galaxy, but it's so fucking hot, you know? That's what he wants. That's what he wants the audience to feel. And John Williams must have watched the rough cut and was just like, I've got to fix this movie.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
And he just sat down and made possibly one of the greatest love themes of all time. And in that particular scene at the end, it's so damn epic and so tragic. Even the scene earlier in the film, like Across the Stars, as the piece itself, it's slow at start. Like Anakin's kind of probing it with Padme. Even though it's really creepy, the music's sort of like this lingering sort of potential spark that can grow into this big flame.
It's like the music's like, it should be like this, like a delicate, almost kind of naivety about it, as opposed to
but by the point they get to the moment they're in the arena and Padme's like, actually, I do love you, Anakin. That's when it's full blast. Not as big as the ending, but it's like they've finally embraced it. If we're talking about moments where John Williams enhances the scene, it's got to be Across the Stars from Attack of the Clones, because that movie's, with the music, masterpiece.
There are certain things in life that I know that I love, and one of those things is in the greatest film of all time. And you know what I'm talking about now. It is
We all know.
Jurassic Park. Welcome to Jurassic Park. I mean, you're seeing what is probably the closest you get to, you know, a real representation of a dinosaur at the time. I mean, even now it stands up so well. Like, how do you manage that? How do you enhance that? But with the score, it just, you know, it just helps just enhance the majesty. It's so graceful, and it's shaped like a brachiosaurus in a way. That sounds really dumb, but you know what? It's like
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's shaped like a brachiosaurus. It's kind of like what you said, the Jaws one.
Yeah.
You know, where it's that one part, and it's very you're kind of taking in the majesty of this creature.
Yeah.
It's very much that, but there's no malice behind it. It's all just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur. Yeah. Yeah, it's my number one just because it's so iconic, it enhances it, and it's a memorable score, it's a memorable scene, it's just everything you want in a film with the Brachiosaurus, which is technically a giraffe titan, but that's another discussion.
Thanks, guys, for watching our top 5 favourite moments where John Williams enhanced the scene. You can check out our top 5s, our sketches. We've got some reviews as well. And let us know in the comments if you want us to do any other kind of top 5s related to this.
Tell us what some moments that you really enjoyed that were enhanced by a particular score. Maybe not even specific to John Williams. Like you said, maybe Hans Zimmer or something. Yeah. That's the only composer that I can think of right now.
Michael Giacchino?
Giacchino. He's the guy who did Jurassic Park. He's nice. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. But
Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.